Oh Lord, it's just me and Mario. That's crazy as hell. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to From the Logo on Tuesdays. I am your host, as always, the phenomenal ZZ Huncho, and not gonna lie, From the Logo is kind of down. We got two members that are not showing up tonight. That is Hayes and Dub. They're both out sick. I am doing this right now, battling sickness as we speak. So it is what it is. Jalen should be pulling up soon. Shout out to my girlfriend if you're watching. Her name is also Jalen. Um, Gifted should also be showing up, but nonetheless, we're gonna just dive into not the main topic yet, but tonight's game, and hopefully Jalen or Gifted will get in here and help me out here. But whatever. 8 p.m. Celtics Pacers. Chat. Let me know who you got right now. I wish I could do a poll, but I'm just gonna read them off and see what we got. But also, in how many games? Because I've been going back and forth with a few other content creators I know about this. I said Celtics in 5. One of my content buddies, Hoopology, if you know him, I think he told me he has Boston in 7, but that would mean that the Pacers would win a lot of games, 3 at least. And I'm just like, nah, nah. But it is what it is. Rondé said Pacers. Shout out to my boy. Um, that's crazy though. That's absolutely Pacers tonight or in the series because tonight I could see the Pacers taking game 1 and then Boston wins the next 4. But it is what it is. Pacers in 5 is nasty work. Ticket said Pacers are winning. Come on, cuz what is happening right now? But okay, Jeremiah, tell me. I didn't hear it, so I don't know what his reasoning was. But tell me what that was. Why are the Pacers winning? Like, please tell me. I get their offense. I've been one on From the Logo before to literally say that their offense is crazy. As a matter of fact, speaking of crazy, Jalen Carter, welcome to the stage.
Crazy. Speaking of charming, handsome,
Oh Lord,
funny,
oh Lord,
intelligent,
oh Lord.
that's how we bring it up. Talking about crazy. Only thing crazy is ZZ's hair today. Come on now.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. Yeah, man. I'm a wild man right now. I don't have the.
Wild boy ZZ. Wild
I'm
boy
a wild
ZZ.
man.
I
This is
like it. I
Wild
like
Boys Easy. Hey. Did you hear Ticket? He said that the Pacers are gonna win the series. I didn't hear it. I didn't watch the
it.
game.
Okay. I think Boston wins this series 90 to 95% of the time. Um do I think the Pacers have a shot? In some universe, they get hot from three. If there's
Mhm.
no Porzingis, Miles Turner, Miles Turner can do his thing and really kind of hoop, rebound, dominate the paint, and hit threes. There's a world where Boston loses. We've seen Boston play down to their opponent. Um, so definitely possible, but I think Boston's still a phenomenal team. Um, have best regular season team all season long. They
Yeah.
have all the pieces to sweep to. So sure, any team could technically win. Like there's always a 1% chance, but I mean, look, there's no way I'm ever betting any sort of reasonable amount of money on Indiana winning this series.
Yeah, man. Nah. Hey, look, I just got confirmation from the bosses. Chat. Anybody that wants to come up here, would y'all be down to come up here and talk your predictions, whatever? Aronde, I know for a fact that this man has some interesting takes. That's my boy. Tyler, yes, ZZ looks different. But I took my hair out, so it is what it is. 2021, ZZ's back in here. Anyway, if chat, let me know if y'all want to come down. I mean, come up. But moving forward, so who you got tonight, Jalen, and by how much?
You gonna get a high top phase easy?
Yeah, that's what I usually.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh,
You
I
know,
got you.
yeah,
But would you
yeah.
do like the top two? Like just get the top like
I used to rock that in 8th grade, but I
Oh,
started
okay.
growing out. That's when I started growing out my hair, and it just got
Mm,
wild. So I'm about to lock it for real because I'm tired of dealing with it.
I
Um,
got you.
I
Okay.
can't even wear my signature hats, bro. Like, come on now.
It'd be like that for real.
That's a part of the Huncho
I got
flavor.
you.
Um, but yeah, who you got tonight and by how much?
Yeah, no, I got Boston by a solid 15 to 20 tonight. I think,
Okay.
home game. Drew Holiday, Derek White, definitely going to give Halliburton the problems all night long. Naismith, the shooting against some of these wing defenders on Boston. I definitely see them struggling for sure. Um, I think it's going to be definitely an ass whooping of epic proportions today.
Mm,
Boston, I think it definitely help. start the season hot. I mean, start the series hot. Kind of let them know we're significantly the better team. You're not going to beat us. So yeah, those have definitely sent a message. Game one though, Boston. I
Yeah.
think Boston definitely wins this easily.
Yeah, I'd say Boston takes game one. And we're about to dive into a lot that we left off on Sunday, which mainly is the Nuggets and the Denver Nuggets and the Timberwolves, my bad, and how that played out. We need to talk about that. But as far as tonight, Boston's taking it. Here's the thing though. What pisses me off is that I can't bet on Tatum. Like I can't, bro. I genuinely can't. I don't know. Like if his over under is like 25 and a half, I don't know what to do because a lot of the times that I bet the over and I'm thinking to myself, this man can score 26 points or 27 points, whatever. And then he fails or he has some 22 and 10 rebounds. I don't need none of that. I need Jason Tatum 40 ball in this series. I'm being so realistic because I'm so tired of trying to defend, is Jason Tatum a superstar? Whatever. I try to defend that narrative because I believe in Tatum, right? And I believed in him since he was 19, wet behind the ears, Similac breath, and all of that when he faced off against LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. So my thing is looking at Boston and looking at the remaining teams. If Boston don't win this damn championship, bro, this year, I mean, chat, what conversations are we literally going to be having about Boston if they don't win? If they don't win this year? Look, the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics all season long, when you talk about the discourse among fans, was the Denver Nuggets. That was the biggest threat. Ain't that right, Mario? Yeah. So that was the biggest threat was the Denver Nuggets. They're done. They're out. Ant packed them up in 7, shooting 6 of 24 from the field, whatever. Now, you're looking at the remaining competition, and I'm saying, okay, Indiana, this should be a gentleman's sweep. The reason I'm saying it's a gentleman's sweep is because there will be a game early in the series that Boston gives to the Indiana Pacers because it's bound to happen.
Game
right?
2, maybe game 2.
Like if they were to win the night, say they win the night by 20. Game 2, I bet Indiana's going to win that because Boston, like for as great as Boston was in the regular season at home, that shit means nothing in the postseason, at least within the last 3, because they're barely above 500 at home in the postseason in the last 3 years. So my thing is like, this is a wide open opportunity. You want to talk about cakewalk, whatever. The only reason I'm not going to say it's a cakewalk is because I respect the Timberwolves defense. And I also respect Luka Doncic, right? So I can't say, oh, yeah, if either of those two teams match up with the Celtics in the finals, like they about to mop them. They should because they have a 60-plus win team and the greatest team ever assembled around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But like I said, at the same time, I can't disrespect Luka and Kyrie and what they could bring to an NBA Finals. Nor can I disrespect if the Minnesota Timberwolves were to continue on with this run that they're on of grit and grind defense matched with Anthony Edwards post-game press conferences and Karl Anthony Towns playing good playoff basketball. If they keep that going, I can't discredit that. So whatever. But Boston better win tonight. They better win in 5. I don't even want to see it go to 6. I don't. They should not go to 6. For as great of an offensive team as Indiana is, their defense is not like that. It's just not. Okay. Match how great they are offensively with the fact that Boston might have the best defensive back or front court or backcourt in Derek White and Drew Holiday, matching up against what the Pacers are going to bring with Halliburton, right? And so I'm interested to see that dynamic, but let alone like, yeah, KP's out, but bro, that shouldn't matter. Like it just should not matter. You should win this series in 5 games. If you don't, I'm gonna be pissed off and I'm gonna be pushing narratives. Who's hyping up Jimmy as the top 5 player? What are we talking about?
Hey, they were doing that last year at the same time.
Hey,
same time last year, everyone's like, "Oh, he top 5, he this, he that."
Yeah.
People just overreact to this playoff stuff. And we're seeing players this season, right now too, in a lot of ways, So I mean, it's just the nature of dealing with people. People hate on Jokic.
Yeah,
boosting up Anthony Edwards. Shout out Anthony Edwards, I love him, but he's getting propped up. It's just the nature of the beast. Halliburton conversations now. Obviously, he's getting propped up again. It's just people just have to stop kind of over analyzing, 1-2 series sample size and making huge assumptions or assertions based on that. Like suddenly, Jokic isn't a good offensive player, is a bad 3-point shooter. because he had a bad playoff run where he didn't shoot the ball well from three. But last playoff run, he shot the ball amazing from three.
Yeah.
You know,
It's I will say they do like to jump to conclusions when something crazy happens in the postseason. I mean, take Jimmy Butler's case. I think with Jimmy it's different though, because playoff Jimmy is a different thing than regular season Jimmy, but everybody knows that, right?
Yep.
Like in the regular season, I literally had this conversation on Yam Time last night. My co-host Saney was like, I don't care about the regular season. I don't care about Jimmy Butler in the regular season, at least, because I know that he doesn't care about the regular season. They're just coasting. And I said, I got to a point where I looked at the Heat, and I wish Dub was here. Shout out Dub, he's sick. But I got to a point with the Heat where I was like, it doesn't matter what type of
what you mean Dub sick? What's up, random in the building?
Yo, what up, boy? Let's go. Hey, who you got tonight? Pacers or Knicks?
You said Pacers or Knicks?
Who you got? I mean, Pacers or Celtics. My bad.
If I'm being honest, the Celtics should win. They should win comfortably, but they're not. They should win comfortably, but they're not.
Nah. Game 2, they might play around, but game 1, I'm telling you, it could be a 20-point W.
Look, we've been watching. Look, obviously, I'm Jalen. You know me, man. I'm not the biggest hoop head guy, but there are a few things I know about hoops. All right,
talk about it.
All right, LeBron. Obviously, LeBron gonna make the playoffs. The Boston Celtics are gonna underperform, which they've done. Even when they made the finals, they still underperformed. And the Jokic thing, we'll see him. I want to say the third thing for when he comes back to the playoffs next year. But I just think right now, I just see them underperform. I think they're just gonna take the pace of the team. It's even if Boston wins, they're gonna win by like 5. I'm like, what's going on here, bro? You have with Denver being out. Boston has no excuse to not be raising the title at the end of this. No excuse at all. Like as great as y'all think and he was great, but Boston has no excuse. Like I'm legitimately like I can't remember who said this. Like if Mazzulla if they don't win, he's fired. And I'm like, I don't know.
No, he might be gone. He might think about it. Look,
but who's there? Who's there? We gonna go get Doc? You gonna go back and get Doc again?
Oh man, not still coaching. He's still coaching.
Budenholzer is gone. Budenholzer is gone. So unless you're gonna go try another new coach with this team that's ideally should probably have at least a chip by now. Who are you getting?
Would this be the first time a team in the Eastern Conference got to the finals back-to-back years since LeBron left?
This year?
Yeah, if Boston makes it again. I think so, right? Every other year, it's been like a new team in the finals.
No, the Heat made it last year.
Yeah.
No, what I'm talking about like a team making it to back-to-back finals.
Back-to-back finals
since LeBron left.
Well, the Heat made it last year. That's why I say no. If you said,
Boston. Yeah. Okay,
that's
my bad sense. Yeah.
It took like biblical stuff from Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Jimmy Butler's a playoff riser. Now, here's my thing, right? If say it's Celtics Mavs in the finals, right? Would y'all be swayed? Random, I'm gonna ask you. Would you be swayed in your opinion on them having no excuses if Luka Doncic, if we get to see Luka in the finals and he gives us, prime MJ numbers against Boston? Would your opinion be swayed on Boston losing because Luka put up 40 a game? You see what I'm saying?
I would still, if I'm being honest, I would still say no, because that's what's everybody else. Everybody else is just getting cooked. Like who does okay, look at what the Celtics present offensively. Do the Mavericks have enough bodies to withstand that onslaught? Even though Jason Tatum hasn't been playing at his best this postseason, right? And that's what it's gonna take. I think if the Mavericks face up against the Celtics, they're gonna need Luka to turn into give me MJ numbers to beat that team.
Boston has no excuse though. Boston has no excuse to lose. There's no excuse.
The only advantage, I guess you can say that the only two advantages that Dallas has over the Boston is that they have the best player and they have the best coach.
Okay,
those are the only two advantages they have. And I guess those are huge, but like if Luka is beating you by scoring 40, 45 a game, Mazzulla, you're getting fired. You can't let this. True. At some point, if it's game 3, Luka done scored 85 points in 2 games. Mazzulla, I need Kyrie to go off this game in game 3. That's how
yeah.
we lose today, is if Kyrie goes off. So that's just where I'm at.
I think for them to, I think for Dallas to win in general, Luka and Kyrie both probably have to average 30 plus. Now, it's,
and they still
especially
need
against the Boston team.
who's the third guy, because they're going to need a game where the third guy goes off too.
I mean, don't take turns. PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., Tim Hardaway Jr. Good for one.
I got you, but like none of those guys are better. None of those guys are better than Derek White, in my opinion.
I like you going off.
Okay, Rodell, chime in, bro. Chime in. Do you think? Oh wait, you're muted. Do you think that? Oh, I guess I'll ask him first. Who you got tonight, and who do you have in this series? Boston and the Pacers. I guess we can start there.
Oh snap! I should answer that too. My bad.
You got it.
So who do I got tonight? Well, let's answer that. Pacers and Celtics. Well, I think the Celtics are going to win the series. I know injuries are part of the game, but this road for the Celtics is easy as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
No cap.
So this should be a no-brainer for the Celtics. But I wouldn't sleep on the Pacers, obviously, because they're a high-powered offense. The way they move in pace, the way they move in transition, they can be dangerous any given night. So any given game, you can give it to the Pacers, potentially getting one. I mean, Miami got one, Cleveland got one. Pacers can get one. They could get two, but the Celtics are winning that series. And then the Mavs, I got Mavs in 6. We here. I know people are going to be picking the Timberwolves. I'm not surprised you shouldn't, because they just beat the champs. They beat the Nuggets. They beat the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. But the Mavs, I believe, will have exactly what is needed to beat the Timberwolves. And I do think it's in large part with how the role players have been stepping up, of course. I do think it's going to help that Luka Doncic looked healthy in Game 5 and in Game 6. So he's looking healthier than he has been the entire playoffs. And I think regardless of what perimeter defenders you put on, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, you're still going to have to double team Luka, and people will still be open. They just got to hit their shots. So the question is, can Dallas defend the Timberwolves? And I do think they can. I 100% think they can defend the Timberwolves. So, Dallas in 6.
Well, unless Rudy starts hitting turnaround jumpers, because even in first of all, big shout out to the Timberwolves for knocking out Denver, and Denver coming back from what was it, 20 down?
Yep.
So big shout out to them. Unless you're telling me Naz Reid's about to have 2 quarters of his life again. Rudy's hitting turnaround jumpers, and Jaden McDaniel's going to turn into a sniper. I have Dallas winning in 7, but it's like a hard fought set. I just think maybe the size because I'm trying to say this right, the size of the Timberwolves will bother them. It will. It's just going to be a concern for them to have. So but I just think overall the greatness of Luka and Kyrie will just outshine, unless Cat's going to play out of his mind this series, because then it's just going to be Ant versus them two. And we know that Luka in the playoffs is a monster. Kyrie's starting to show his form again from when he was only having 9 points in a couple games. So I think the Dallas will win in 7. And if I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, Celtics should win in 5. You should win in 5.
They should.
Yeah, they beat them in Game 4. The Pacers beat them in Game 4, and then the Celtics like, what are we doing? Let's take care of Indiana so we can watch this bloodbath, low key, that's been going on in the West. And then by that point, you get Porzingis as much rest as he can get, and all that. And even with generational shooting, even with how hot the Pacers can get, I think the Pistons can match them. The Pacers are not a force defensively enough to get anybody in Boston concerned. So I just think, the Celtics should win in 5. If it goes 6, I'm gonna need like Chill or somebody to explain to me how this series is 6. And I am trying to be disrespectful. Like, it's just.
I mean, Boston can have a bad shooting game for one. They just.
I still think their defense keeps them in it. Their defense keeps them in it. Like, there's never been a more like. This reminds me of, and Riddell, you find this funny. Remember that NFL championship weekend? It was like Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Case Keenum, and Blake Bortles were in the championship rounds. This is what this reminds me of, except unlike Tom Brady losing to the Eagles, this is even worse. I think Boston. God, I've never won. I've never been so locked in. I'm like, if you fail,
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna start treating y'all like the Dallas Cowboys for real, because y'all talk a lot.
That's the
way y'all don't make it.
That's the way that it feels like it's been going with Boston. You just summed it up perfectly. If I had to think of an NFL team, comparison to the Boston Celtics, it's the Cowboys. Because, oh yeah, they may look good on paper, and oh yeah, they fans may say it's their year, but it's the same damn story. The only difference is the Boston Celtics actually make it farther than the Cowboys would in the playoffs for NFL. I mean, I enjoy watching the Cowboys. It's a yearly tradition for me, knowing, because I'm a Washington fan. So it's a yearly tradition for me sitting back being like, if we don't make the playoffs and the Cowboys do, they ain't going nowhere, so we might as well kick back and watch them lose. That's something that literally has become a tradition.
But who we compared to the Cowboys, though? Who we compared to the Cowboys?
Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
Y'all better put some respect on Boston's name. They ain't no Dallas Cowboys. Hey,
but you know what they are? They are the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, okay. The 49ers. I like the 49ers.
If you want the link, let me know. If you want
I like the 49ers.
Send it to you, Lamont.
Yeah, stay going to the conference championship, and then
there we go.
Losing. Stay losing.
It's the 49ers.
No, the only reason because I feel like a couple of those they like, I still think they probably should have beat the Warriors in 2002.
Hell, 2022.
Yeah, I think
hell nah.
The only reason was they're the better team. They just didn't have the better player and the better coach.
That I don't even think it's that. I knew for a fact going into the series when they said that they had over a 90% chance to win. I was like, oh, y'all about to piss Steph off because he's been here 5 times. All he needs is a finals MVP. And you mean to tell him that not only is he still striving to get that one finals MVP, but y'all got him down 90%? Well, you're picking Boston 90% over Steph Curry?
Let's not pretend like it didn't take a magical game 4 for the Warriors.
You want to know that? You want to know what you mean? That was the difference because Steph Curry, down 2-1, if I'm not mistaken, said, "Oh, watch that. They feeling froggy. Let me show them how I get down." And then in game 4, mind you, Steph should have had 50 because they missed a hell of a lot of calls on that man that he was still hitting in that game. But then we get to game 6. The fact that Steph literally pointed to his ring finger, right? But this is, I think, in like the second quarter of that game, telling everybody, y'all already know what's good. Go home now if you don't want to see the rest of what's about to happen. That's just what it is. The Warriors had championship prowess. That's something that even when you look at like the Lakers and the Grizzlies in the playoff series, like even in that series, I was like, I'm gonna pick the Lakers. I'm putting my money on the Lakers. I don't care. The Grizzlies talking all this hot shit. Yeah, they're young, right? Yeah, they have a budding superstar in John Morant, pretty good pieces around him like JJJ and Desmond Bain, but you got a Dylan Brooks as a mouthpiece talking to LeBron, like LeBron can't get. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
My bad.
Man,
I've been on Dylan Brooks, and then I was like, you know what? He had a so-so season in Houston. Then I saw him airball them threes. I said, all right, I'm back out. I was back out.
Hey, my bad. I'm going through some type of allergy shit right now, so that's why I wasn't expecting to be here. But I said, screw it. Let me be up here with y'all, man. Why not kick it? I got Vicks. I don't know if y'all use Vicks. I use Vicks all the time. Whenever I'm congested, I sit here, got Vicks all over my body. But we here, man. Bro, Jalen.
Yo,
don't duck. I got beef with you.
You got beef with me. Hold on, I just got lighting.
I got beef with you. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, we need the lighting. You were on this. Yo, listen. I remember. What did you say?
I said
the Nuggets are gonna blow them out. The Nuggets are gonna blow them out. The Nuggets are gonna kill them. The Nuggets are gonna do this. The Nuggets are gonna do that. And I told you, I said in game 7s, typically the Pacers kind of killed that narrative, but typically it's a grit and grind game. And the first half looked great. I'm not gonna lie. I bet you was probably taking your victory laps and everything.
I was good. I was ready to collect the money and everything.
You was. Like 20-point lead. I bet you was. But then what happened? That offense fell off a fucking cliff. And then, you know what's so funny, ZZ? I told y'all on From the Logo. I said, if Jaden McDaniels hit 3 threes, they're winning the game.
You did say that.
Yeah. I was in Lowe's playback. And as I'm on Lowe's playback, I literally see Jaden McDaniel in the third quarter hit the 3.
Yeah.
And they're still down by like 6. I said, oh, I said they're gonna win. Put the house on it, guys. I said they're down right now. The odds are favored. I promise you they're gonna win. I'm not even lying, bro. I exactly said that same exact thing, bro. It was just such a funny thing. But Jalen, bro, this offensive this offensive god, got slowed down by some people, and we need to have some conversations on him. Ticket was talking about it this morning, about the energy of the panel yesterday was just bad because people were my whole thing is people were so ready to. I heard so many conversations about Jokic, about where he is, and even me, I was thinking about too, like maybe people are spitting, but when he actually goes up against a defense that can go up against him, and he really gets bothered by this like that, I'm looking at him, let's say Shaquille O'Neal, I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I've seen Shaq destroy Rudy and Cat and Nas Reed, man. So, like, people got to pump the...
Well, yeah, Shaq's going to give him a solid 30, 35, and 15. Jokic gave him 30 and 19 with some assists.
It's not Jalen.
No, I get it. Shaq was still better.
Well, it's not the same.
Shaq was still dominating more, 100% as a scorer. But we're not going to act like Jokic was fully stopped and dominated by Nas Reed and Rudy Gobert.
Jokic was stopped.
He was not.
No, you got to.
He was slowed down. You can't say outright.
It made it more difficult.
Yeah, he got slowed down.
He struggled a bit, without a doubt. Right?
He finished with 34 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, Dub. I'm going to tell you right now. While I agree with you on the Shaq point, I do. If Shaq is in this game, right, and say it's Shaq and Kobe, because that's how we can compare this. Nikola Jokic had 34, 19, and 7. Jamal Murray had 35, 3, and 3, right? But Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, KCP, right, 7, 4, 5. So if Shaq is playing in substitution for Nikola Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and KCP still don't show up, they don't win. Like, I'm sorry, I watched that game. The only Nuggets players that looked like they were even trying to at least withstand the 20-point lead was Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. They both finished with 30, and the rest of the starters ain't even finished with 10.
Again, but that's because of, number one, how we're talking about. Let's see, and this is what I don't like. You can't sit here and tell me when everything is clicking, when everything and MPJ and KCP is going off. Oh yeah, it's because Nikola Jokic is sitting here doing everything he can to set everyone up. But then when it's not clicking at all, oh man, they're just ass. Nikola Jokic is no blame. Like you just can't have it both ways like that. And too many people do that. And 34 shots on 28, 34 points on 28 shots. Like, come on, let's be honest, guys. Like, let's be honest. And I could get with the understanding of slow down for sure. But don't act as if like, oh yeah, he's just because he had 34 and like Jamal Murray had 30 something, like they had good games. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. They had bad games.
I agree there. Like I was one of those people that said Jokic, I thought had a bad game. Like for his standards, he had a bad game. I didn't like how he was playing, especially in the second half. The difference between Shaq and Jokic for me is when it comes to like this conversation in particular, is that Shaq is more willing to impose his will and get to a spot regardless. Sometimes Jokic can be a little bit complacent and doesn't try to get to his spots enough as a scorer. That's the biggest thing for me when it comes to Jokic, that I'm like, Jokic, you're being a little bit too passive. And in this game, in the third quarter in particular, even though I think Cat was doing an amazing job as a post defender on Nikola Jokic, I don't know how we're giving all that credit to Rudy Gobert personally, but whatever.
It's so weird, right?
Yeah, I'm like, Cat's the one defending him, but okay, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
whatever. I didn't get it,
bro. The lies I was hearing was ridiculous, bro.
So I said Rudy Gobert was the biggest reason they won the second half. I'm like,
no, Karl-Anthony was the best player on the floor for the Wolves. Karl-Anthony Towns was their best player, not Anthony Edwards, not Rudy Gobert. It was Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yes, it was.
Offense,
Gave him
defense. Sure. He was cooking 100%. Second best player was Rudy Gobert. Third was probably Ant.
I would have given it to McDaniels.
Last game,
McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels. I'm giving it to Jaden McDaniels over Rudy Gobert. I think the buckets he was able to provide. But I'm not gonna lie, not to take away from Rudy, without that crazy scoring output he put in the fourth quarter, they lose this game. He was insane. He was just making crazy stuff. Like I can't take that away from him. We could call it BS all we want. I'm not expecting him to go in, but hey, he deserves that. He deserves the credit of getting that lead with them because he was just hitting wild, ridiculous shots that I didn't expect to go in, right? So credit to him. But Riddell, like you're saying, like, bro, when people are, and this is what pisses me off, because Gifted, I'm mad Gifted here because I want to talk to him about this shit because he pisses me off too with co-signing that. We're not going to sit here and take away from Karl Anthony Towns. And just because Rudy Gobert is standing on the low block guarding Aaron Gordon, that we're crediting that defense for working because of him when he's just standing in the paint. Because Cat, even in their pick and roll actions, Cat was the one dropping. Cat was the one meeting Jamal Murray at the mid-range and forcing him to go out for a tough shot. Cat was a guy. Rudy Gobert was nowhere. Cat's best defensive plays, Rudy Gobert was nowhere to be found. Rudy Gobert was on that low block, not doing a damn thing. So we're not going to sit here and take away from Karl Anthony Towns and what he was doing by saying, oh, the reason that was able to work was because of Rudy Gobert. That's not fucking true. Because how does that make sense when some of Cat's best defensive plays happened when Rudy wasn't even on court?
Facts. Like, people just ignored that Rudy Gobert left and Cat was still playing amazing defense on Jokic. And the biggest thing that he was doing is he was preventing Jokic from getting to his spots, getting comfortable. And that's why Jokic was like, you know what? I'm just got to shoot threes. I can't back down Cat. Let me shoot these threes. It wasn't going
and it's crazy, Riddell. And it's crazy, Riddell, because anytime when I sit here and see Jokic on Rudy, I'm not gonna lie, Jokic is just ready to put it in his chest. He's just ready. It's crazy. And it's kind of odd. I don't know why that is, but bro, he is just ready to attack him. Did you see how he caught that pass? Just did a quick little, a quick little first step, body Rudy with that floater. It was good defense. It was a good contest from Rudy. But bro, I'm like, damn, like he ready to go attack him, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. This was
Jokic is still Jokic, though. Jokic is still Jokic.
Jokic is great, but the talks with him offensively and the talks with him being like Kobe and Shaq and everything, we're not gonna sit here and just act as if he just clears those guys. I'm sorry. There's no way. There's no way.
Real quick. First things, I always looked at that talk. Maybe I'm weird when the people were saying that they belong in those talks. It was like, this is contingent on him winning a championship. Like, I'm not going to take Ticket I don't take Ticket very seriously at all anymore, but I'm not going to take him very seriously the way he was talking shiesty about Jokic when they were down 0-2, trying to say what he was saying about Jamal Murray and him, trying to call him a stat stuffer and all that stuff.
In the front runner.
And I cannot take that dude. And then when at the end of the playoffs last year, you saying it was top, it was like above Barkley and the thing. So I can't take that kind of.
Well, he still thinks he's above him.
Yeah, which is cool.
Ticket ranks.
Jokic is better than Barkley.
I'm not gonna lie, like Ticket, despite how he feels, I mean, this is one thing I gotta respect him for. Like, his criteria of players, he keeps it all across the board. And even though he don't like Jokic like that, he don't think that he's that good, he got him 12. I mean, people mad at him for talking him the way he talks about Jokic. Motherfucker has him 12. So I mean,
he has him higher than anybody.
There's objectivity there in terms of him ranking him because of his personal criteria. Like, I just look at that and like, come on, like I can understand and respect that actually.
Sure, let's go with that. We're not going to talk about how he introduced himself to the panel this morning, but that was awesome.
That was Ron's fault. What
happened?
Even me and Ron talked about it. It's Ron. It was completely Ron's fault.
Bro, what happened?
I'm not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about it.
Don't even try.
I'll tell you after the show. I'll tell you.
Okay, all right, for sure.
And look, I think it was crazy when people are comparing Jokic to like 2018 LeBron. I thought that was crazy.
That's ridiculous. That may be the greatest basketball player I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
2018 version.
That was crazy. But look, is Jokic still Jokic? No. Stop it, Riddell. Stop it. Go watch again 2018 again. I promise you, 2018 LeBron to that game 7, he's not doing that. Playing 48 minutes against the Boston team that was ranked one of the top.
I will say,
Jokic would cook that Boston crew. Who's challenging him?
Sure.
He had way less. Hold on, Jokic had way more help than LeBron. Stop it. Way more help than LeBron.
No, yeah, help, yeah, but I mean,
for sure. Don't even. What LeBron? George Hill.
I think Jokic. Like, let's not forget, Jokic is the same guy, even without Jamal Murray, was cooking the Blazers by himself. Like,
the Warriors too, even though I think he got gentleman swept, but he was averaging like 30, 10, and he was destroying us. But anyway,
we got to understand, 2018 Bron is a different level, but let's not sit here and act like Jokic wasn't. He was bereft of talent too especially when his two best guys were out.
Still a top 5 offensive player of all time. I think.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, I will be fair with Jokic. Like, let's not act as if Kobe, MJ, Braun, even Shaq, they all have series where we could be like, yo, you were really bad that series.
Yeah.
MJ had a series against Miami where he shot under 40%. So
Yeah.
like I can understand people like, okay, using this series as like, okay, cool. We're still figuring this guy out and we can look at this series. But when we like, oh, he's not that good offensively just because of this series, like that he's still a crazy great offensive player.
Yeah.
But like every single offensive player in NBA history, they all have had a bad series. Every single one of them.
And even this series, I wouldn't even go like bad. Like they almost won the series still, despite
everything. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Besides
those 2 games,
below what he's able to do, but I wouldn't go like overall bad series. You know
well, if we include, we're talking about just offensive because if we could include defense, I'm definitely saying it's a bad series.
Don't encourage him.
Don't
encourage him.
Right? No, I'm not lying though. If we really including it,
that's such an old head. That's such an old head argument. Do not even encourage. Don't even show this stuff on screen. That's such an old head argument.
Yeah.
Like, what? The defense? He was trash.
No, Dub. He's talking about Brandon's comment.
Brandon's a funny guy.
He's not like Dub over here. Like, damn, I'm trying to, bro. We talking about the.
No, I'm sorry, Dub. I just can't stand that cat.
Oh, it's cool.
We gotta roll on to the next segment. Random and Rodell, appreciate y'all for coming up. Y'all let people know where they can find you.
Also, I'm trying to manifest Paul George to Denver. See, y'all find a way to make that happen.
Paul George.
I'm trying to MPJ pull it up, go to the 3, and just say, "Yeah, I can take it inside." I'm not 6'7", but he just pulls up
just
the
work
3.
here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I thought they were staying here the whole episode. I like talking to these guys.
I like talking to them too.
Stay them up here. Nah, they stay them up here. It's good. We got 130 people watching.
Hey, you know what?
You know what? We cooking right now. My lighting is a problem.
Because Riddell's been with me for over a year and a half now, bro. What have we said about the Dallas Mavericks? As soon as they got Kyrie Irving, bro, as soon as they got him, we've been told y'all. I said specifically, I remember you agreeing with me. This is a move for the future. They're probably going to struggle now. It is what it is. They're investing into their future, and it's a great decision for them to make. Everyone say, "Hey, it's the playoffs. This is ridiculous."
I was like, bro, they obviously tanked. Like it was so obvious they tanked, and the tank worked out. They got the Thunder pick, got Derek Lively, and he's Apple players in the playoffs right now.
Oh my God, Lively has been great for them, bro. And me and you even agreed when they drafted him. I'm like, yo, that's a great piece for them. Especially when they're trying to go up against the Nuggets. Now, just adding Daniel Gafford was great for him too.
Thanks.
But, bro, I'm just sitting here like, yo, this Dallas crew has even exceeded some of my expectations because if y'all would have told me Luka would have been playing that badly and then still being able to win games, I was like, wow, that's very surprising. And that's what they've been doing. And salute to Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, Lively. Listen, Gafford, I'm not going to lie. You've been getting bitched all postseason. I'm not going to hold you. His plus minus is ridiculous. And I'm not a fan of using plus minus. I'm really not. But, bro, you were minus 25 in back-to-back games.
Bro,
Josh Lively's like plus 25.
Josh Giddey had the worst plus minus of like any Thunder player in that series. I remember there was a game he was minus 20, and I was like, yo. But you watch the game, and you see he has no purpose on the floor. He's just there. Like, they leave him open. They're literally leaving this man wide open, and he's just bricking. And, yeah, but anyway, let's get into the super chat. Thank you, Irregular. Sent over $5. Asking, are we listening to Swiper, No Swiping, and Ungifted? They said Kyrie is overrated. And don't let Kyrie win a chip this year. It will get nasty.
I swear. Yo, bro. I've been waiting for this for years. Yo, ZZ. I've been waiting for this for fucking years, man. I've been waiting for this Kyrie run. I've been dying for this Kyrie run, bro.
I like Kyrie too. I like Kyrie.
Bro, I am a Kyrie fanatic, bro. I love him to death, bro.
Yeah.
Fam.
Luka gets a ring and Kyrie? Oh, we have a great conversation.
Kyrie did say in the pros conference that when he joined Dallas that he definitely like changed his mindset and refresh his leadership abilities, and you see it. Like everybody is following Kyrie Irving right now as a leader. Even Luka follows him as a leader of the locker room, and
it's definitely like a joint leadership between those two guys, right?
Oh yeah, Luka's the best player, and Kyrie's the vet that people is like, oh, I got experience. But I got a question for you, Dub. If Kyrie wins a chip with Luka, I hate to be this guy, but I know how much you love this guy.
How does this impact Bron's legacy?
What happened?
What we saying about
how does this impact Bron's legacy?
What we saying about KD?
To be fair, I mean, Luka, like Luka's fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like you know how I feel about Luka Doncic and how he is like all time and how his peak is, right? Like Luka, I'm not gonna lie. Luka, like the peak conversations with Luka is definitely gonna be in those Curry, KD talks, like 1,000%. Like he's just so great. Similar like him and Jokic, like, and that's where we'll ask that later, right?
All right.
We'll ask that later because I want to compare Luka and Jokic and best player in the world. Try to ask that on the panel, but I had to leave. But Kyrie Irving for me and KD, the thing is, and you talked about like kind of fixing his mindset and everything. I just think that Dallas was just more of a breath of fresh air. Dallas was just basically like a complete restart from him. Ever since Cleveland, he's been in toxic scenario after toxic scenario. Now, if you want to say that he didn't help with that toxicity, I can understand that as well. I'm not saying that he's completely like free of blame for what has happened on those teams, not at all. But a lot of the crews dysfunctional, guys being hurt, got too many guys wanting the ball on Boston Celtics that all the players have even talked about and even opened up to. Goes to the Nets, ownership doesn't like him. James Harden gets a trade request mid-season. He's doing the whole COVID vaccination thing. I mean, it's just been a string of just bad scenarios for Kyrie Irving. So to me personally, I think Kyrie Irving, I don't think it's much more of a reset and he's changed. I just think this setting has just been perfect. It's been a perfect reset for him, and I'm just happy to see him succeed. In terms of how this affects KD's legacy, like I said, the Nets was just a crazy unstable franchise. Like James Harden getting hurt and then James Harden asking for a trade mid-season. I'm looking more so at James Harden for why that thing failed, not KD.
I don't think it affects KD in any negative way too. I think
you look at Harden more for that failure than KD and Kyrie, the ones that started that shit.
Because James Harden literally just packed up his bags and said, "Screw y'all, I'm up out of here."
Okay, I see what you're saying.
James Harden actually didn't perform though. Like I think KD still performed well.
Well, James, respect to James, he played while being hurt.
He played while being hurt,
and I'm respecting James for that.
Yeah,
but him throughout the season, him out of nowhere, oh yeah, I want to get up out of here, just to go to Philly, and people's main reason was, because his team is not always there and they're always getting hurt. But then you're fucking going to play with Joel Embiid, who's always not there and always getting hurt. Like, it's just stupid. Like, it's a dumb thing, and it's dumb to try to even defend that. And then he didn't even talk to KD or Kyrie Irving about that. He just said, "Screw it, I'm out. Y'all ain't gonna hear from me." That's why KD didn't draft him in that All-Star game. Like, he did some BS.
Well, the thing with Harden too is like that's always annoyed me because I understand being a fan of James Harden, right? I understand being a fan of an NBA player for their play on the court. But in this new generation, right? Free agency moves and all that shit, there are a lot of times where some of our favorite players just do some crazy, like just create toxicity behind the scenes. We just talked about Kyrie. We lightly touched on it. Harden, what Greg just said, exactly. James Harden literally wanted to go to Brooklyn, right? Requested out from Houston, wanted to go to Brooklyn. Then he got upset in Brooklyn after literally barely 2 years, not even a year and a half to barely, and then said, "I want to go to Philly." With Joel Embiid. And then with Philly, when they fail, I'm the system. Let me go to LA, and then they fail out again.
Like there's no way I'm gonna look at KD or Kyrie like that.
You know what I'm saying? So I see your point a little bit more now, Dub. But I will say, like, other examples include Kevin Durant, obviously, LeBron sometimes, but like at Giannis this year, like there's just, but there's a part of me that's just like, you know what, I got to give him a little bit of grace because I guess you are superstars, so whatever. But damn, like KD and Kyrie walking into Brooklyn, I will never forget the moment that I found out that KD and Kyrie wanted to hire Steve Nash was the moment that I knew that shit was not going to work out. And I get it, 2021, right? People, Kevin Durant's toe and all that. But dude,
I swear it was going to work.
I
swear, I'm not gonna lie, ZZ. I swore. I still swear. If they was healthy, they win a chip. If the COVID mandate wasn't there, they probably win a chip. I swear.
Think about how many things. Okay, I agree with you on that point too. But think about how many things because of Kevin Durant's toe being on the line. Like Steve Nash lost his job, but he could have had it still if Kevin Durant's foot isn't on the line, or if Kyrie doesn't get hurt, Harden doesn't get hurt. Like that's how crazy it was. But then it took us a year after that to realize that this man could not coach. It was either he couldn't coach or KD and Kyrie would not let him coach. But One of the two. I don't know. But man, they never had a job since. It's crazy. But anyway, Hayes, welcome, my brother. Missed you, dog.
What's going on?
Let us know.
How you feel about Kyrie? How you feel about Kyrie
let's
possibly
start
winning
there.
another ring and kind of the talks we have about Kyrie, who's clearly been disrespected?
Kyrie's a great player. Like he just, I mean, you can't deny Kyrie's greatness. Will he win another ring? I mean, they got to make it past the Minnesota Timberwolves first. Let's be clear. Like
Wolves
that ain't easy. Like it's not that easy. But I mean, what we talked about, I think was that Sunday's episode, maybe it was last Thursday's episode, is that it's with sports conversations. Some people will take legitimate criticisms, critiques, or negatives, and then make them the utmost and try to act like all of a sudden somebody's terrible. That's what happens with everybody, every player, every sports conversation. It's like it's okay to say, hey, he has these struggles as a player, but he's still great. And that's where we don't have because it's not as attention grabbing, right? Like you got to hardline stances of saying, oh, well, he's just overrated. It's like, no, Kyrie's pretty well rated to where he is. I don't think anybody's saying that Kyrie alone is going to win you a title. I think we've moved past that well enough. I think Boston proved that wasn't the case. If anybody ever did think that, and that's fine. There's most players in the NBA aren't players that single-handedly are going to win you a title, but you still could be a great player without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, let me throw this question to the panel, because as we're transitioning more and more into the main topic, which is Luka versus Anthony Edwards, and it will feed families, believe me. As I sit and ponder, right, we have Boston, Indiana, Minnesota, Dallas. It's so crazy to me still that Jokic and the Nuggets are out, because like now we are in prime position for somebody, one of these four players, Jason Tatum, more than that, Tatum, Luka, Kyrie, Anthony Edwards, I guess Tyrese. But so many players get to have a potential to add to their legacy or make a case for it. So who do y'all think is going to walk away with? Who do y'all think, matter of fact, who do y'all think is under the most pressure to win the championship besides Boston? Besides Boston.
I was ready.
I guess I could say
besides Boston,
Luka?
it's just a map.
There's no one else.
I'd say Luka because he's the best player left.
Hold on. They're going to be held accountable though. If Luka,
especially with the Nuggets being out, Dub.
They're facing the Timberwolves. They've been having one of the best defenses we've seen, and they just dethroned the Nuggets, who won the chip.
What I'm trying to say.
If they lose to Timberwolves, it's okay. It's okay if you lose to Timberwolves. They're a great defense. They play great as long as they perform. If you lose to a great team, it's fine. Now, if Dallas plays Boston and loses, that's kind of fine too, because everyone kind of universally agrees that Boston is the best team in the league this year, deepest team, whatever. But if let's say Indiana pulls the upset, if they lose to Indiana,
you can't lose to the Pacers.
Yeah,
but then the answer is, honestly, I'm sorry to say, it's Anthony Edwards. That's the answer. He's under the most pressure.
Okay. Let him cook.
This is the one thing I wanted to fight against, though.
To crown Anthony Edwards to be the face of the league, to be the next Michael Jordan, to be the American guy. They want Ant to be everything that they're hoping. And if he doesn't live up to that, if he doesn't live up to the pressure that they're already putting on Anthony Edwards, then that's a failure. Luka and the Mavericks are the underdogs in this series. We already know this. The Timberwolves beat the Nuggets in due part to Anthony Edwards being great and obviously that amazing defense. And just like Jalen said, even if they beat the Timberwolves, if they lost to the Celtics, again, they will be the underdogs in those series. People are honestly looking at the Mavericks like, yo, they're overachieving. Nobody besides maybe me, Dub, and maybe Jalen had the Mavericks going this far. Nobody thought this. They thought the Mavericks were going to make the playoffs. Let's be honest.
I forgot about that.
Oh, they did.
That's right. Riddell, stay right there. I want you to stay right there. You said something that was great. Overachieving. That's why, to me, the Wolves or the Mavericks and their best player, like, there's no way they're under any type of pressure because they're both overachieving. Like, they have both been overachieving, and when you're overachieving, and let's say they're just waiting to see how it's gonna end. Nobody's like, yeah, Luka, you got to do this, or yeah, man, you got to do this. Now, if they play like terrorists, I think just like anybody would, that's wild. Anybody shouldn't be just playing like a terrorist sometimes. You feel me? But in terms of people saying, like, let's say if Ant-Man plays adequate, Luka plays adequate, and they lose, nobody's gonna be like, yeah, you're not really that guy, you're not really that good. Especially Luka, he's going up against a defense that literally just been been shutting down the Nuggets offense that whole entire series, and they shut down KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Nobody's gonna look at him crazy. I wholeheartedly don't believe that at all.
See,
on a PC press
the only reason I'm gonna fight the only reason I'm gonna fight against that dub, obviously from the outside looking.
Last thing, funny because Max said something. Jalen, Max sent me a message saying that you said the Wolves weren't gonna make the playoffs last year.
I was the Wolves' #1 hater. Anthony was #1 hater. Cat #1 hater. We was definitely hating on the Wolves all season.
You had the Kings over them.
I had the Kings over them. I had the Warriors over them. I had the Clippers over them. We had see my lights even going out.
See, your light don't believe the shit you saying. It's like turn this shit off. They believe the shit you saying, bro.
They believe it now. I had the Suns over them. Yeah, look, I wasn't a believer. I didn't think that defense. This is crazy. I didn't think that defense was going to sustain itself in the playoffs, especially against the talent. But look, I just didn't think defense like that could be played in 2024 and win you games. I just didn't think you're winning 90 to 85 games. You know what I mean? I just think that was impossible. So, look, I was proven right, though. I got to give him their credit. That defense is amazing. Karl Anthony Towns, a notorious playoff dropper, has shown up. Got to give him his props. Anthony Edwards, look, he's going to be phenomenal, great. I don't think he's Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, that level. I don't even think he's better than, Vince Carter.
He's 22. He's 22.
Yeah,
Those guys.
People want to put him in conversations already, though.
Hold on.
Down.
So the one reason why I want to fight back against, especially the Luka part of it, is once a budding, at least what a guy looks like a budding superstar, and obviously you guys can tell me, once you hit that point where like, oh my God, you could be a champion.
Yes,
you have the threat to be a champion. The clock starts. Luka 2 years ago, once he made it to the conference final, they're like, all right, we are now keeping championship expectations on you. Now, is it right or is it fair? Depending on what's going on with the team, because obviously the Mavericks got Kyrie, they tanked. Now they're back where we expected them to be. Now, starting next year with Ant, I think that's what a lot of people are going to expect from them. You upset the defending champs. Your team's in the conference final, and if I'm being honest, other than Halliburton, he has the least amount to lose. Ant does. He's 22. It's his first time here, and like you said, they're overachieving. But let's keep it a stack. The guy who has the biggest benefit is Halliburton, but he also has the least amount to lose because they're not even supposed to be here. If the Knicks are healthy, the Knicks win that series. Yeah, legitimately. Yeah. So that's why I'm sitting there. I think I understand that we want them all to be. They're saying he's better than MJ. Blah blah blah. Those guys weren't MJ. They weren't LeBron. They weren't any of the guys that we know them as when they were 22. So is it fair? I don't see why, since Luka is the best player left, unless somebody thinks somebody's better, and we've seen that he's gotten to the precipice before. Why can all the pressure not be on him? Even though when you look at the makeup of his team, it's quite unfair. But I still think he has the best to. He has the most pressure on him because he's shown he can do it before. And ironically, this time with the big bad guy in the West gone, no matter how you believe the series with the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to go, why should we not have that kind of expectation? Especially like this is wide open. You should, like, I expect Luka to beat the Timberwolves and be in the finals. That's what I expect.
Not a lot of people feel like that because they just defeated the Denver Nuggets who won the chip. This one right here, whoever wins is whoever wins. Unless they play historically bad, that's the only time where people are really gonna cook them. But I mean, if you want to say Luka probably has the most pressure out of Ant, sure, because I mean, this is his first time doing this and being in like having a deep postseason run and everything. So no one's gonna cook him as much as Luka would, But honestly, I don't think too many people are looking like this, like Dallas, like you need to win this series. No, how the hell do you expect them that you need to win this series when the Denver Nuggets just lost and they were the ones that won the chip? Like, it is what it is. And I did. Hey, Lyndon, I had them beating the Nuggets as well. I'm very scared about this Minnesota Timberwolves matchup, though. I'm not going to hold you. It's a great matchup, and I can't wait for it. It's wild. I honestly don't know who's going to win. I'm definitely just going to pick the Mavs just because I've been riding with them all year. Pause.
Talk about it.
But I mean, I don't know who's going to win.
Right away.
I don't know who's
Wolves,
gonna win.
bro. Wolves in 7. Look, y'all need to lock in. Y'all need to understand that we are witnessing a Cinderella run, but y'all gonna understand real fast. Hopefully, because if not, that'll be crazy for this clip.
I'm glad Gifted here. I'm glad.
Hold on. Before we go, Luther, Raydell, thank you guys for joining. We gotta let you guys go. We're gonna rock with the rest of the panel the rest of the way, fellas. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. We appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, boys.
No problem.
Appreciate it, boys.
Easy.
But yeah, so like, Dub, go ahead. You can do your thing now. You can.
Gifted, I'm ashamed of you. Oh, you're muted. I had to mute you because I kept hearing the typing. I muted you. But,
I didn't know who that was. Gifted was typing loud, like he was doing an angry word. Like that was definitely a per my last email ass type. That's what that was.
Per my last email, I tried to tell Dub and Jalen about this fucking Minnesota team. Per my last email,
It's cool.
I said Minnesota was gonna win on Sunday.
I'm talking to. Listen. No. I'm talking about from the beginning. The Suns.
You got that. You got that.
I'm gonna give you that.
The Suns and Denver.
I'll give you that.
I spun the block on that.
I could change my opinion when there's new information, though, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay,
just like you should now for the third time in a row versus Dallas, right?
You've been changing your opinion a lot this offseason, though. A lot. You've been changing your opinion a lot, bro. Like
I haven't even been up here like that for the
before we even get at the beginning when we were getting into the playoffs. A lot of your hardline stances ended up.
Which one?
The Minnesota one was a big one in their defense
for sure, and Suns.
And the Suns, and then there was you're right. You weren't on your heat. My bad. You weren't on your heat. I actually was high on your heat.
Yeah, he didn't think he was going to be on shit. Yeah.
Give him that.
Yeah, and listen, I'll be fair. Like we're gonna be wrong with takes. It happens all the time. I'm definitely gonna victory lap and talk my shit.
And as you should, I would expect nothing less. But you pissed me off, sir, because I seen you on the panel, and I see y'all lying and taking away from Karl Anthony Towns and how great of defense how he's playing. Y'all gonna sit here and you're co-signing Swiper about the reason Cat's able to play that defense because Rudy Gobert's right there. Hell no, he had his best defensive plays when Rudy.
You giving too much credit to Anthony Edwards.
Guys,
too much credit to Anthony Edwards.
It's getting fake mad up here. Y'all sound fake mad to me.
I'm not fake mad.
Can we actually
I said this before you got here, sir.
Wait a second. Dub is legit. Dub has legit opinions. Jalen's always trying to jump in on something and get his little sayings in there at the last.
Don't worry about it.
On me. Yeah.
As soon as he sees the pass, he'll be like, oh yeah. Like,
oh yeah. Just like he said, oh yeah. Valanciunas gonna average 20 and 15 versus OKC in the first round. Oh yeah. I'll leave that alone.
He had that first good game though. That first good game was wild.
Yeah.
And I told you that shit don't move me because they're gonna go at him defensively, and that's why they swept their ass. But anyway, let's get to the point here. I want to be clear about this. I have been a Cat supporter for years. So I earned this moment all the way through and through. Why? Well, because me personally, I feel like a lot of people.
I said wow.
Oh wow! Yeah.
You said Cat. Wait, you said Cat or Rudy?
Cat.
Both
actually, because I feel like a lot of people gave Cat a lot of shit, and I felt like sometimes it wasn't always warranted, and I feel like it was extra, even though he was trying to be a good enough basketball player. And I felt like after they made the Gobert trade, I said this can be a team that can contend because of the size and the length. And to me, making the Gobert trade was them saying we believe in Anthony Edwards to rise to the occasion. And let's not make any mistake about it. I said coming to the series, and Hayes, you were there with me, so you can co-sign. I literally said before this series starts, the reason why they match up the best with Minnesota is because they have two bigs. They're going to put Karl Anthony Towns on Jokic to front him, and they're going to have Rudy Gobert take Aaron Gordon out of the series. That's going to be their game plan. They're going to have moments where it gets murky because Cat's foul trouble, but Cat size-wise is going to be on Jokic, and he did great. I'm not taking anything away from Cat, but they do not win the series without Rudy Gobert being the help side guy, taking Aaron Gordon out of the games for the games that he did. They do not win the series if Naz Reid doesn't come off the bench when Cat's in foul trouble and be a productive player as well in the fourth quarter, right? Like Game 7 to me was such a great win because it was everything coming together. It was everyone having a great offensive game without Anthony Edwards, despite the fact that Anthony Edwards dialed it up on defense and made great passes. People don't talk about the shot generation that Minnesota was getting in the third quarter, the open threes for Jaden McDaniels, who made that offensive leap for these last two games. This was a team win and what I thought the team could rise to, but they had to prove it. And again, if I told you before the series started that they would beat Denver 3 times on the road in a game 7, down 20 points at the top of the third, where Gobert's going to make a post fade on Jokic, you wouldn't believe me. But that's what happened.
Hey, Chase, this is what just happened with Gifted, right? He sees somebody challenge him. Now he just shifted everything he fucking saying on the panel, bro.
I
swear.
business.
The thing with Gifted is that Gifted is so analytics driven that he's always going to come around to what the truth is as long as the analytics say it. You gotta always respect him.
I just want to say, Gifted said Anthony Edwards had a good game 7. Was that a good game 7?
Okay, so now let's address Jalen's lack of comprehension, right?
Hold on.
No. Okay. So are you gonna be fake mad? Because I'm not mad at all. I'm calm. It's a warm day. You know what I'm saying? We got the Minnesota game coming up.
Jalen, bro, go hold a woman, man. You shouldn't be this animosity. Like, where's the animosity coming from? Chill, man. Calm down, Jalen. It's okay. We understand Toronto's been taking a lot of L's right now. You ain't got to bring the animosity in here, my guy.
Yeah.
You got to chill out a little bit. Bro. We got Afro ZZ in the building, bro. This is all reason to be still today, bro.
Big shout out to Afro ZZ in the building,
bro.
Sir, hey, look, I'm as zen as possible right now. You know
right, facts. But look, so listen, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said word for word. I said Anthony Edwards shooting 6 for 24. He had a terrible shooting night. I agree, but what people often don't understand, if you're just Bosco watching or whatever, is you need to take those shots to continue to bend the defense. Because Anthony Edwards could go 6 for 25 all he wants. They're gonna send 2. They're going to send 3. They're going to send guys to defend Anthony Edwards. So to keep the defense honest, he had to keep playing his game. I respected that. But my thing is, despite the fact that he did shoot bad, his overall process in the third quarter, getting those shots to Mike Conley, getting those shots to Jaden McDaniels, on top of the fact that defensively, I'm going to guard Jamal Murray, who's going to go 1 for 7 in the third quarter. We're going to play good defense. I'm going to get breakaway dunks, and we're going to get in this game where we basically go on like a 30 to like 4 or 5 run, right? Anthony Edwards absolutely showed up in that aspect. To me, he impacted winning, and his team was able to win the game because of that third quarter run down 20. I understand he shot bad, but we've seen players who shoot bad and still have good games. Prime example, Russell Westbrook is still one of my favorite players, despite the fact of his flaws. He's had moments where he can shoot 6 for 20, but if you're watching the game, the rebounding and the effort and the decision-making at times where he leverages a high-risk pass to the corner to generate quality shots, that is what basketball is about. Now, am I saying that for Anthony Edwards standards, it's a great game? No, of course not. 6 for 24 isn't good. I agree with that. But the fact that he was a net positive in every other way, despite the fact that he wasn't efficient from the floor, matters. And you need that in a game 7.
All right, so now let me explain why Gifted was a little wrong there and educate Gifted. As someone who watched the game with Big Ox Bog on Playback, shout out Playback, make sure to tune in tonight. We watched the game. What Gifted said was his process, but he also said though on the episode of the panel was that the passing, playmaking of Anthony Edwards was solid. He was still creating for his teammates. But guess what? He really wasn't creating for his teammates. A lot of those assist numbers people want to jump on in terms of Anthony talking about creation. It wasn't like he was creating plays optimally for his teammates. It was just the double came, he made the right pass. It wasn't anything special.
That is true. He is right. He is right with that.
Hold on. He wasn't doing any crazy creating. And 2, a lot of the times, even after he passed the ball, he would just stand there. Anthony Edwards has to learn when that double is there. 1, don't just give up the ball and stand there. Make a play. Move off the ball, especially when the double is there. And 2, in terms of his offense, he wasn't executing that well because if you know you're being doubled every time, get to your move right away. Catch the ball closer to the 3-point line or inside the 3-point line and drive to the rim immediately so the guy doesn't have time.
Well, he was trying.
But a lot of the time he was bringing the ball up slow.
He was just getting locked up.
Like 3. Hold up though. He got to communicate with Mike Conley, call it to that, whoever. They're bringing the ball up. Just stand just 1 feet inside the 3-point line. Ask for the ball. Make the move right away. Me and Knox were talking about. He could have easily done it. He could have gotten the post. After the ball, spin move right to the basket. Well, don't let the other teammates and the defenders come to
him. He could have done this. He could have. Hold on, wait, Jalen, I got you. I'm gonna keep letting you cook, but this is what he could have done. This is what, because this was pissing me off in the game too. Because offensively, I'm not gonna lie, the passing from him, like maybe a couple good passes, and one of those passes got taken away by KCP. Like the passing was offensively, it just wasn't there for me at all from Ant-Man. But what was getting me mad is something that he should have done was more Cat pick and rolls when Cat has Christian Braun or fucking KCP on him. It was ridiculous what they was doing. So that right there is something they could have done. him, especially as a decision maker, could have done, because that's plenty of times where Cat's right next to him. He just gotta be like, yo, set this fucking pick right here. He didn't do that, but continue, sir.
Yeah. So my whole thing was that look, defensively he was phenomenal in that third and fourth quarter. In the first half, defensively he was okay, but once he started locking up Jamal Murray, there's thing 100% that helped change the game. But we got to remember too that a lot of that run when they got back in the game, Ant was on the bench. And was on the bench, like, okay, remember that when he remember, hold up, he's clipped up saying, yes, we're back in the game while he's sitting on the bench when they're getting buckets and they're getting stops. He was on the bench for probably when that 20-point comeback, I think for about 6 to 8 of those points, he was on the bench. And he's getting way too much. Hey, that's facts. Don't get me wrong. We lost. That's okay. So I got mad at him. Screw it.
That's why he mad for real. He ain't mad at me for real.
That whole he was on the bench. And the whole Canadian to American currency exchange is terrible. Whenever you got to send, like, yo, it's terrible. Sending 500 American is like 750 Canadian. I'm like, what in the world? Crazy. Goddamn.
So I just want to be clear on something. I'm not saying he had one of the great passing games of his career. What I'm saying is he produced in that sense. If the defense is blitzing you, the right decision is to swing the ball to an open 3-point shooter. If Anthony Edwards is taking the ball and driving into the double and kicking it to Jaden McDaniels, that's creating a shot.
Like that, they were doubling at the top and give it up. He wasn't even trying to really kick it out.
I'm literally telling you, I saw him create a shot for Jamie Daniels. Are you saying that didn't happen?
Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
Most of the
plays, what are we doing?
It wasn't a drive and kick for most plays. Most of the plays were literally him 3 feet beyond the 3-point line. They would flash a double. He passed. That's it. And he stand there. He literally.
By the way, wait. Real quick to Dub. By the way, I just want to point out some stuff because Jalen likes to get on me for lying. Apparently, Anthony Edwards played 11 minutes in the third quarter. So he was barely on the floor for the third.
Hold on, wait. Stay right there, because I was going to check how many points they scored. Because Gifted, we were on the same page. I'm not gonna lie. I was going to check how many points they scored when he left the game at minute 30, minute 33. Cat hit 3 points for him. He came back with 38 seconds left, and then crazy enough, to close that third quarter, it was two buckets from him.
Yeah.
You caught me. You caught me.
Man.
So no. So now it's the crash on your motherfucking ass. You gonna talk about me lying on the panel?
You need an edible, my guy.
You just told me Anthony Edwards barely playing the third quarter, and you literally lied on your shit. I never told not Nan lie. You just said in front of all these people.
Now don't turn the camera off now. Turn the camera back on, Jalen. Don't turn it off now.
No. Everybody stop. You got the fucking nerve to talk about me capping in line for Anthony Edwards. You don't even know how many fucking minutes he played in the third quarter. Maybe you just didn't see him making the plays that I saw. I don't know. Because if you can't even be honest about the minutes he played in the third, how do you have the audacity to call me up? You don't even got your facts right.
Look, we got the minutes.
Jalen, you cannot come for the facts, man, without the facts. You cannot come for the facts, man, without the facts. You should know I know that at the very least, bro.
How much did Anthony Edwards play in the fourth?
Bro, I watched that series again yesterday.
Thank you.
Like when he said that shit, I'm like, bro, there's no way. I said, I know there's no way. I had to double check. And he said that with so much. And this is what pisses me off. People be saying shit with so much confidence.
He be so confident.
Where I be over here second guessing myself. Like, there's no way I'm this wrong, bro. There's no way.
I was wondering.
Loud and wrong.
I know everybody
too much. I was sipping on the haterade too
much. I know
everybody
in the chat. Everybody in the chat was wondering when they first heard the news. Damn, Metro and Future dropping an album. It's called "We Don't Trust You." They was talking about Jalen. That's right here, bro. And then they dropped another one. They said, "We still don't trust you, nigga." Damn. But anyway,
it happens.
Look, hey, this is a good way to break into the main topic of the video. Of the episode, I guess. So Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards versus Luka Doncic will feed families. Who came up with that title? Truly. The reason I say that is because, look, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was Random or Rodell. One of them said earlier about Anthony Edwards and the pressure that he has, because I don't think Anthony Edwards is under that much pressure personally, but the only pressure that I think that he is under is living up to hype that he doesn't even want to claim. Like, you see him in post-game press conferences talking about, man, don't compare me to MJ, don't compare me to Kobe. Like, I'm Ant, bro. I'm Ant. And I believe him 100% on that, right? But at the end of the day, if the media is going to bring any pressure up, right? He got by with that Game 7 performance because I will say I don't think Ant had a good game overall, but I'll say he had a better second half than he did in the
because
first.
They won. If they lost that game, he's getting
but here,
destroyed.
but I get that. But when you think about why they won, and then you listen back to like the sound bites of Ant being mic'd up and being like, all right, look,
He's a leader. He's a leader.
I'm not exactly. So being that I saw those mic'd up moments, and I was watching the game live and visually seeing a shift in the energy of the Minnesota Timberwolves when Anthony Edwards checked back in. Because look, I'm not gonna lie to you, I started just counting up his misses because I was like, this nigga is shooting like shit. But then I was like, okay. He checks back in the game. He's picking up Jamal Murray at half court, getting steals, getting transition dunks. Literally in one of his sound bites, he said, the only way I'm a dunk or get to the rim is in transition. And then he did that. So I'm sitting there saying, like, yeah, overall, it may have been a stinker. But in the third and fourth quarter, in terms of watching that energy shift, I think Anthony Edwards was at the head of that because, look, he was telling guys, like, look, I'm sitting like shit, but, bruh, look, I'm a try out here. Think about it. Get this in earlier. You could point to a lot of instances where somebody's had a bad game, but done a bad shooting game, but done well in other areas. I immediately thought back to the 2010 finals, game 7, Kobe Bryant shot like shit, but had 20 rebounds, 20 rebounds, kicks it out to Meta World Peace of all teammates. And he knocks down the 3 because Kobe actually said, here, nigga, fine. And he knocks it down and they ends up winning the damn finals. But
I can even give you a more recent example. If you go to the Golden State Warriors finals versus the Celtics in game 5, where Curry didn't shoot the ball well, he was efficient on his twos and was passing the ball well.
I think in those situations, though, I think Kobe was still clearly the second most impactful player of that game. I think Pau Gasol clearly was. He had a great game 7 in that situation. And I think, Curry was still the second most impactful in that game. But with Anthony Edwards, he's borderline the third or fourth in this game 7. And for a guy who we're holding up to the standard of Anthony Edwards and the conversations, that's just not
Jalen. I'm not gonna lie. I can understand Jalen. I can understand us getting on Anthony Edwards for his inefficiencies. Like I could get that 1,000%. Of course, there were some passes he was doing that was great. There was also just some like elementary passes, but his defense was nothing short but exceptional. And that's what you want from a guy, right? And my whole thing is, why am I gonna look at Cat like? Why am I trying to cook Ant-Man like that when literally like he's been dropping multiple 40-point games in this series? Like it happens. I'm sorry. There's gonna be times in a series where you're probably not gonna have a good game. Now it's unfortunate as game 7, but the motherfucker been dropping 40 in this series multiple times. I'm not looking at it. Like I'm not going crazy at him. I do agree though. Like I'll say the offense from Rudy and Cat was way more crucial.
That's what I'm saying.
But to act as if, like you saying, he was the third or fourth. No, because he did have some passes to Jaden that was crucial for them. He ended the third quarter with 5 points, which is a big momentum.
I think Cat and Rudy were for sure more impactful that game. Someone mentioned Jaden McDaniel.
Rudy was not more impactful than
Edwards?
Rudy was not.
Rudy was better in that second half.
In the fourth quarter with them buckets, I'll give you
defensively.
That's where we line. That's where we line. I hate that shit. I hate that shit.
What?
I hate that shit, bro. I hate that.
Worth more than
defensively, the man that was most crucial for them defensively was Cat. Cat was that dog for them defensively.
Oh no, Cat was very important. I agree.
Even when they was running. Even when they was trying to get some pick and roll actions with Jokic, this man Cat is dropping perfectly and meeting Jamal Murray in spots to shift his change, to shift his momentum, to shift where he wants to go numerous times. Like
that shit on playback, bro. I'm telling you, I don't want to.
And that's nothing. That has nothing to do with Rudy. Rudy, congratulations for making sure AG ain't getting no fucking lobs. But the majority of the work defensively,
he took AG out the game.
He did take AG out the game.
He took AG out the game. Do you know how much AG had in that game?
I'm not
you gotta think, Dub. Ever since Ant in the post game press conference said, "This nigga Aaron Gordon," and they tried to flip his words. Ever since then, immediately.
Yes, he gets credit.
You know what I'm saying?
he gets credit for his responsibility on AG for sure, but it was way more of an impressive and impactful feat the way Cat was playing defense, even in multiple scenarios. With
Dub, I do just want to point out to you real quick, Dub. I just like if you just go back to the 3 games that Denver won in this series. Like AG was damn near their best player in some of the games.
AG was for sure.
I just want to point that out. Like
Rudy gets credit, and Rudy gets credit for making sure he don't get off.
I love what Dub is doing because I've said this about Cat 100%. I said coming into the playoffs, Karl-Anthony Towns' defense has gotten better. Yeah. I said like listen, I literally remember on Deck the Halls, they tried to debate me on trading Cat for role player. I'm like, are we serious? Cat is the reason why this team is going to be able to contend with Gobert because the Twin Towers size is going to be a lot for many, many teams, and they match up well with the best team in the league, which I felt like was Denver. Cat showed that all regular season long. Now we in the postseason doing the same shit. So
they called him a madman.
Yeah, more than anyone else.
I didn't expect him to play like this, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I did. So listen. You can't come to me about Cat. I've been here.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not here. I'm not here for Cat. I'm not here for Cat.
Gifted. Let me ask you this question.
Cat is doing amazing.
Yeah. What up?
Let me ask you this question. So, would you concede to say at least that Karl-Anthony Towns played better defense, better one-on-one defense on Nikola Jokic than Rudy Gobert in the series? Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I need. Look. I thought I was crazy for saying that by like game 3, maybe, and I was like, nah. The way the whole series played out. Cat, if they put Cat on Jokic,
I think Jokic had a harder time backing down.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he had a harder time backing down Cat overall than Gobert. I still think Gobert contested Jokic a lot. He just made the shit over him. Yeah. Jokic didn't even get a chance to do that with Cat because Cat was holding up so well that they had time to send help. He would score on Gobert kind of quicker, even though the shot contest was still there. So Cat 100% did the best job in isolation defense. Yeah, overall for the series.
Because what I noticed specifically was like you just said, like when Jokic was matched up on Rudy, it was a matter of Jokic beating Rudy to Jokic's own spot, right? So he beat him with like a quick little dream shake, spin off to the right, spin off to the left, hook shot. But with Cat, it was like Cat was beating Jokic, like planting his right foot down, right? So that as soon as he gives him that first bump, it's like, oh shit, he ain't really moved like Rudy, like how Rudy moved. But no, I'm gonna have to go do this. So I will say, I give Cat the same way that I'm giving credit to Kyrie Irving for his defense in his postseason. I'm gonna do the same exact thing for Karl-Anthony Towns.
And I literally said this in our last year's season, right? I literally said, as much of a Cat supporter as I am, I said Game 7 for Karl-Anthony Towns is a legacy game.
Yes,
it is.
Yes,
it is. And he showed up.
He did show up.
I want to give that some credit.
Wait, so what about? I saw a bunch of the tweet stuff too with like Jimmy Butler with the same kind of crew. Does he look any like better or worse just because with these guys was calling him soft, this and that? You feel like they proved something to him, and also
I feel like the roster is just completely different though. I feel like it's so far removed from like where the team was back then. And back then they had Wiggins before Wiggins was
you
know.
Did you see guy that was there? D'Angelo Russell's Instagram.
I did.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, Minnesota.
And that was funny.
It's crazy because D'Lo about to opt out of his contract, and then he'll be gone unless the Lakers throw some money at him. Because look, D'Lo low-key might end up with the leverage this offseason, and that is criminal to think about based on how he played in the postseason. But it is what it is.
It is
what it is. We'll get paid. As we are approaching the end of the show.
Hell no, bro. We weren't here for like the first half hour. We can still fucking keep going until the game start, bro. There's a lot of shit I want to talk about.
I can't keep going.
I've been dying.
I don't got an issue, but I can't keep going personally. So I will be gone by 7:30. But Dub, get your shit.
Okay, then, guys, let's get this started, man. Might as well start it up.
Actually funny.
There's no way. There's no way that just happened. Mario, did that shit just happen?
That is hilarious, bro.
What just happened?
Nah, I want to honestly, right? This is the question I wanted to ask earlier, but I didn't want to derail it because I knew it was gonna get to another topic that I was like, all right, we could hold off on that until later on, right?
Okay.
If Luka, I asked this on the panel, if Luka performs well against his defense, and Luka seems like he may be playing back into his health, it looks like the last few games definitely look a massive improvement. So salute to that. So if he's able to perform well against this defense, the same defense that has taken down and literally held held. I'm not going to say just completely locked up, but has held Jokic to more bad games than good. And a lot of people say he's the best player in the league. He's the best offensive player in the league. But if Luka Doncic is out here, if Luka Doncic is going to be out here and be able to get off on that crew, how we talking about Luka being the best player in the world, man?
Look,
I think this is a very important series for Luka.
This is it's a telling series because I think I said it probably 2 episodes ago on the logo, but I was like, if you think about it, Luke, I remember saying
my bad. Brandon Kidd, shut the fuck up. I'm serious. The man has been hurt. The man has been hurt. He has literally been hurt. What I'm saying is the man has literally been hurt. And he's actually plays a health. If he plays healthy, a same defense that has been able to contain Jokic, Luka deserves that freaking credit. What are we talking about?
Brandon Katz is much like Jalen. He's just gonna say the opposite of whatever everybody's saying. You just gotta learn to ignore. At some point, Brandon Katz is gonna be like, "Hey, it's funny how they have no black people on this show at all." He just lives to be a contrarian.
Bro. The funniest shit I've ever seen Brandon do, right? Like you can have a take, right? If you say what he thinks instead of saying you right, he just gonna say the take in general and then find something else to nitpick.
For sure. Yeah.
I swear to God, I've never seen Brandon agree with a thing that anybody.
I've seen Brandon have an opinion, and then 4 episodes later, we'll say that opinion, and then he's on the opposite side of it just because he wants to be a contrarian, bro.
He just be talking to talk.
Hey, Brandon,
Shout out to Brandon, man.
Brandon Katz is another guy who needs to go and find a woman to touch because you can tell when people they struggling right now, bro. It's crazy.
That's ready. But listen, real quick though, I do want to say, Dub, right? There's only one problem I got with you, right? Luka has largely underperformed this postseason because of injury. I agree. He's been hurt. I said this when the playoffs started. This has been Luka's overall worst playoffs because of that. That's why for me, if he starts hooping now, like to me, you then have to still look at the entire postseason package because I'm still going to say that he's hurt. And I do have to give Jokic credit. Jokic still overall versus this same defense had games where he dominated. Yeah. And overall for the postseason, he was great versus LA as well. Every time when they were down 10 points or however much it was, he walked them down. Jamal Murray hit big shots, sure, but again, that was
Junior. Hold on. Hayes, you were right. It's to a point where he said Luka doesn't get a pass because she's not fully healthy. He's so busy talking. He's just doing it in the say stuff, bro. He literally just changed Luka's gender to make an argument.
You can tell that Brandon doesn't win a lot of arguments in his own household, so he has to come to YouTube to try to argue with people. That's all that is, bro. I bet you his woman, if he even has one, probably makes double the money he does. He's struggling, bro.
And I just want to be clear, right?
So hard, Hayes.
I really don't like the argument that like X player averaged 30 because again, if you watch Luka overall in the Clippers series, he averaged 30. I agree, but the defense was god awful. They were blowing them out a lot of times because they were trying to make up for Luka's defense. Jokic's defense in the postseason has also been awful. But I think even if Luka performs and they beat this team, that's not enough to make me think he's the best player in the world. I just think, okay, well, you were able to perform in this series at a high level. Great. Like, that's cool. But that's not enough to edge him out over Jokic, in my opinion. But it does aid him in terms of he's clearly the second best player or he's clearly tied with Jokic. I'm fine with saying that, you know?
Yeah. So
someone here who has said Luka Doncic is the best player in the league from the start of the season was going to be the MVP.
No.
Right? As someone who's been pushing this, Luka Doncic is him.
And then he said the Nuggets were going to come back because Jokic's the best player. And all that.
He also said the Nuggets figured out in that series, but yet they only won.
He also said that too. You really don't be cooking. I'm not going to lie. You do.
As someone who said Luka Doncic is on his way to be a top 10 player all time, one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen, as someone who, frankly, this postseason actually has played some decent defense, even on one knee, has had some clutch steals, stayed in front of his man relatively, has taken some plays off, but actually been relatively decent at defense. Luka Doncic this series,
I'll give him like a C.
I do think because of how we're holding kind of how we view this defense by Minnesota and them being, frankly, a phenomenal defense. If he's able to execute and have a phenomenal series where
it means something.
100%, it means something, and it means a lot, especially Western Conference. If they're able to beat this team, man, and he gets to the finals, yeah, to me,
I'm not gonna hold you, bro.
Adds more to his legacy. Adds more to his legacy.
Motherfuckers was calling Steph. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dub. You go ahead.
No, I remember people calling Stephen Curry the best in the world, despite him having off regular season, and despite him in the postseason not really playing like best in the world standard up until the finals. They crowned him as the best player in the world mainly because of one series against the Boston Celtics. So, did you crown him as the best player in the world, Gifted?
I got this one. Can I go?
Okay, you got it.
Okay. Yeah. I did, because before the season had started, he was already in those talks for the regular season. Sure, he wasn't efficient by his standards.
So Luka hasn't been in the top 3, top 5.
I'm sorry. Can I keep?
No,
going?
Sir, because you interrupted me.
Oh no. Okay, my bad.
I'll play. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So like for his regular season, it was the best like playmaking on ball season from him. His team won a lot of games without him having to shoot that high. And then once it came down to it versus the finals, that defense had outperformed every other superstar to a significant margin.
Yeah.
Literally, Giannis was not effective. I understand Chris Middleton was not there, but I'm telling you what happened. They still were able to hold them to a less than, Giannis overall level. KD got swept out. It was his worst overall playoff series in a while. A lot of people say it might be the worst of his career, maybe, right? And then he dominated that at a very high level. If Luka does something like that, where it's just pure domination, great. But here's my thing. If you beat the best defense in the league, then you should be able to beat the Celtics too.
Here's my
it shouldn't be no different to me.
Oh,
here's
sure.
my thing.
Cool. That's fine, right? I can understand that. But at the end of the day, if we're going to sit here and Stephen Curry, you talked about, what he's been doing, playmaking and passing that year. Cool. Luka has been doing that the whole entire year this year.
I agree.
Luka has been both the scorer and the playmaker. Even with him being injured in this postseason, what did we talk about? Affecting games in other ways. He's still finding guys open. He's still feeding PJ Washington and still feeding Derrick Jones Jr., right? Yeah. Putting up crazy passes. So he's still affecting the game on a different level that's contributing to wins. My point is, if we were going to sit here and classify Stephen Curry for similar reasons, you talk about the playmaking, despite the scoring not being there, and one series of cooking the best defense in the league, I don't see how we can't sit here and say the same thing with Luka Doncic when he's been far more consistent scorer this year.
But it's the degree.
Crazy great playmaker.
It's the degree.
The degree of Luka is high as hell.
So here's my thing, Dub. I'm not opposed to what you're saying right now, because I literally said last episode, I think, if the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Mavericks match up in the conference finals, and Luka's been hobbled all postseason, but in the last 2 games of the series against the Thunder is where he started to slowly find his footing. If he were to go into Minnesota hobbled with injury, the first thing that my mind thinks of is what that defense is going to do with a hobbled Luka, the same way that they picked apart a hobbled Jamal Murray, right? So Jamal may have had a great game 7, relatively. But there was a couple games this series where he had 18 shots attempted and less than 5 makes. So you attributed that to Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, even on the perimeter, trapping, doing whatever, bringing pressure at half court, shit like that. And even we talked about it when he went 4 of 18 the last game. Dub, you even said some of the shots he was missing were open looks, or at least shots that he's routinely taking. But you look at the defense on the playback, and it's like they got a body on him. These are shots that he can make for sure, but they're under him. They want him to shoot shots. It's almost like, right. So to the point about Steph in 2022, though, somebody just said nobody was crowning him as the best player in the world except Warriors fans. Giannis Antetokounmpo in a press conference said the best player in the world. They asked him who he was. Steph Curry. Why? Because he won the championship. So if he won Giannis was literally crowning this nigga.
Yeah, that's a good Giannis impression.
Mind you, Steph.
I brought this up for Gifted, though. I brought this up for Gifted because I knew he was going to say that shit. That's why I brought it up. That's why I really brought it up. Because I brought that shit up for you, sir. If you going to crown him, Curry, if you going to crown Curry, bro, you better crown Luka, sir.
Hey, listen, much respect is easy, but again, I will struggle with doing that when you can say, okay, he played well, but again, the degree of it versus them in the games matters, because I saw a stretch where Shea outperformed Luka. So if we're gonna say,
you're right.
We see a stretch where Ja outperformed Steph.
No, we did
Fuck
not.
out of here.
No, we didn't.
You're a lie. You're a lie.
Okay, no. Okay,
No, you a lie. You a lie, bro. Oh my God.
We can go game by game. We can go game by game. That's not hard.
Ja got hurt.
Okay, no. Okay, listen. You bringing up Ja Morant is pivoting from my point, which is why you're going back to Ja Morant. But I can quickly address this right now. You say Ja got hurt. No one ever talks about how Ja got hurt while being down 30 points, already getting blown the fuck out of the game. No one talks about how the Warriors went on the road in that series and they took home court advantage away from the Grizzlies because of how
he
good
dropped 3 straight 34-point games. He dropped 3 straight.
Okay, listen.
So you can't. He scored 47 when they beat them.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
If you're going to name the numbers in terms of scoring and the decision making, all that stuff, fine. It's about the entire body of work. Again, Luka is averaging 30. Has he played great? Did he play great versus OKC? He averaged 30 though, right? It was 30 points, right?
Let me ask you this: How many games? How many games? No, because Ja got hurt. So there's 3 games.
Game 1, Ja was better. Game 1, Ja was better.
There's 3 games. There's 3 games.
Ja was better.
Yeah.
There's 3 games. Game 2, he was better too.
You got it.
Bro,
Game 2 he was better.
That's what we doing.
Game 2 he was better.
We doing
No, but the point is, if we're gonna reach, if we're
Y'all do not
gonna
remember the series at all, bro.
get to say.
What? Game 2?
We gonna big up Ja going stupid in a blowout. The same way.
Listen. Let's pause this conversation and do it Sunday. We can look at the series on Sunday.
Game 2, they didn't get blown out.
Dub. We can literally evaluate this series on Sunday. We don't got time. To talk about an old ass series from 2022. We can look at that at another time. I disagree with you. My bigger point is, regardless of the numbers you're averaging, it does not mean that you played great in the series. We've seen people do that. Again, Shea was the best player in the series, right? Luka averaged 30. Did Shea outplay him or not? And I guarantee you, if Ja played the whole series, he would have been the best. Luka almost averaged a triple-double. No. Listen, I'm not worried about that bullshit. Luka
it's not bullshit. That's what happened.
It is bullshit. Luka almost averaged a triple-double. Luka almost averaged a triple-double in the series versus OKC. Was Shea the best player, yes or no?
Shea, for the consistency of it, yes, he was.
So what you're admitting to me is a player can have better numbers than a player, but they were not the better player.
What? Shea was having great numbers on way better splits. Those splits are part of his numbers. Just because you average a triple double doesn't mean that your numbers you have better numbers.
In terms of production, in terms of points, rebounds, assists, and in per productivity of it, beyond efficiency, you just admitted that Luka had better numbers than Shea, but you would still say Shea is a better player.
There's no way you're a stats guy. There's no way you're a stats guy, and you're taking it for the sake of the argument. You're taking away a big portion of Shea's stats.
I am literally including the splits in it because Steph was more efficient overall. Yeah. Okay.
Not when he was dropping 40. Not the hell when he was dropping 40. What are we talking about?
Let me get this straight.
You were literally ignoring context in defensive coverages, schemes, splits, shooting percentages, the amount of threes that Ja took.
So again, okay, I'm ignoring context. This is the shit I'm talking about.
See, you're ignoring. You ignore. That's the problem.
You ignore context when to analyze that Luka has been hurt. Like we both ignore context when you saying like Shea was better than him. Yes, because he was.
I never ignored that context. I never ignored that context. I told you that. At the beginning, I told you that.
Great. Then let's keep it like that. Let's not use that as a point to diminish.
So why are you bringing back 2022 when Steph was the best player in the series?
Because it was a counter because it was to counter your point about there were stretches where Shea has been better, and I'm saying there were stretches where Steph wasn't better than Ja. But just because that has happened, we don't need to use that as a point to negate Luka for who he is because we can understand what is going on for him to be struggling, how they're blitzing Luka despite him being hurt. And even with him being hurt and he's finding wide open shooters that they're neglecting to blitz him.
And your first point was if Luka dominates versus this Minnesota defense, should that crown him as the best player in the league? And what my question was for you is overall, because he's been hobbled, he has not had a a consistent series yet in terms of Luka production, in terms of best player of the world production. Jokic overall has had a more dominant postseason than Luka. So just because Luka has a great series versus them wouldn't make me swing to say he's the best player, especially if you do that against the best defense, then you play Boston and don't do that. Am I going to say he's the best player then? I wouldn't do that.
He cooked the defense that Jokic couldn't. That should mean something a lot.
Jokic didn't cook versus, huh?
The Jokic, no, to me,
Jokic cooked like 2 games.
Are we gonna act like Jokic didn't have great games? Okay, if you want to tell me that he's gonna play great every single game and not struggle at all, then you got it, bro. You got it. But like I don't know about that. Again, it's about the entirety of the series. So for you to just say a blanket statement, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like.
For sure. I asked you the question though. I said if he cooks,
okay, if they beat him in 4 games and he's efficient every single game, then I can understand why you would feel like he's the best player. But I still wouldn't do it off of one sample size. I still wouldn't do that though. Not off one. You can't play like a god versus the Wolves and then get beaten 5 by Boston and I say you're still the best. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Fair. He has to play well against Boston too. No, I agree with that.
It wouldn't just be one series doing that, bro.
I do think the way if Luka performed like it's not just putting on numbers, it's the way he should be able to kind of.
I'm not gonna lie, if he's able to cook
the defense,
and that's where if he's able to cook Minnesota, I have confidence he'll be.
100%. It's just the way he does it. I think
that's fair. I think that's fair because if he cooks against size, then he should be able to cook Boston. But again, we got to see it. I don't know.
I would understand your optimism. No, wait. I will understand your pes. I forget the fucking word, how to pronounce it. I can understand. Yeah, I can understand when you say if they struggle against Minnesota, but then lays an egg against Boston. I can understand the what's it called? The holding off on it. I can understand that as well. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If he's able to cook Minnesota, there's no way he's not gonna.
It definitely adds to his belt. I don't have any problem with saying that. I just, for me, I'm never a person that's gonna let one series sway. Okay, he's the best. He's the best. I think Luka's already that type of caliber of player. And for me personally, at least how I'm viewing it, Luka cooking to me is not dominating every single game. I don't think versus this defense, any superstar is gonna dominate and be perfect every single game. I think that's very unrealistic. I think it's you did enough as a superstar to get your team past them, and you played well in the majority of the games, but not every game. Jokic, best player in the league, played pretty well versus this defense, but also had moments where it wasn't enough. Right?
I think with Jokic, it's just this defense kind of exposed. I mean, obviously, we're picking at little small margins here, right? When comparing, yeah. So when it comes to Jokic against the defense, we just saw a weakness of Jokic that we haven't necessarily kind of seen before. The physicality, the bodying up, like we saw a weakness that we just didn't think existed. While with Luka, I just don't think there's really any weakness that a defense can do on him. I don't think that physicality is going to bother Luka. I think he's going to be able to adjust, play around that, and he's going to be able to kind of manipulate the defense of Minnesota more so than Jokic can. But I also think that's a positional thing. I've always kind of thought, especially now, I just think guys who are who have the ball more in their hands can dictate an offense and have a greater impact more so than a Jokic. So guys like LeBron, Luka, Jordan, just these kind of great offensive guards who can play, make, pass the ball, score, and all that, just because of their ability to kind of control the ball and also dictate the pace of the game. I think that's such an underrated thing that ball handlers and kind of guards and wings can do more so than big men. Big men can kind of do it, but like, again, I said, LeBron kind of did this in 2015 the most. Again, some teams, he was literally deciding the pace of how the game was to be played. Some teams was fast-paced, push up and down. In the finals, he slowed that down to some of the slowest basketball I've ever seen against 2015 finals because of the injury situation they had. I think Luka can kind of do that, dictate when to push, so that way I think Jokic can't really do that.
Listen, I'm surprised by Dub though, because he's arguing and going to bat this far for Luka. Buddy, we're not going to escape Kyrie Irving. This is the Kyrie series. All this other bullshit you've been yapping about like, no, this is the diamond test of the Kyrie Irving series. They're in the conference finals, right? This is his chance to go to the finals. No. I'm saying this. Dub has been high on Kyrie, right? He said that back when he played with LeBron, he's one of the best. I hear all that, right? And I've said, I'm a little like iffy on that. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's as good as people say he is, right? This to me is the series where Kyrie, if he's the best second option ever, this is where you're supposed to show it against the best defense in the league. You're talking about Luka. They don't have a chance in this series if Kyrie plays the same way he did versus OKC. They don't. I'm looking at Kyrie more than Luka, to be honest with you.
Dub, I think that Kyrie's going to rise to the occasion, Dub. I do. And you want to know why? It's because when I think back to the fact that Kyrie left Cleveland, essentially because the media tried to make it seem like he was LeBron's son, even though he put together some great performances and enough to win them a championship and come back 3-1 on a 73-9 team, right? Ever since he left Cleveland, it's been a little bit of just kind of roaming around out there, head up in the clouds, like the question when he left. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. When he left Cleveland, the question was, is Kyrie a number one option, right? Within 3 years, we figured out that he was not. So the way I view Kyrie Irving now is a vital second option. Playing next to someone like a Luka Doncic, like Gifta said, if the Mavericks want a chance to win this series, Kyrie has got to show up just as much as Luka does, and Luka's hobbled. So it is what it is. But I think Kyrie will rise to the occasion just because I think that Kyrie's in a very comfortable place with this team, with this stage of his career.
He needs to though too. He needs to. Last series wasn't his best.
It wasn't. We went through the 5-game stretch on Sunday, and I was like, damn, he had 9 points like twice, and I was like, damn. But anyway, Kyrie's a champion, so the legacy talks or whatever, all it can do is just add to it. I feel like, and also being the fact that he's the second option on this team, nobody's expecting him to do first option shit unless it's like the fourth quarter, they need a bucket or something. But outside of that, like, you know, I think he's gonna pull it through. But anyway, boys and girls, I'm signing off at least. I gotta go.
Yeah. We good. I think it's a good time. We could address the John Morant lies next time.
And real quick to Dub, I'm sorry, but like I want to be clear before Zizi gets off here, right? I want you to know you're setting Luka up crazy. Because to me, I'm gonna look at you real odd if you're basically saying that you're expecting Luka to perform at that level.
I was just asking a question. I was just asking.
Okay. So do you believe Luka is good enough, health-wise, whatever, to perform at the level in this series?
Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the series. I was just asking.
Okay, so you don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm giving him the health bailout. If he plays great, all the power to you.
I was just asking questions. That's all.
Nah. See, Jalen, we can't do that.
Because I know
we can't do that. We can't do that.
Keep it real.
But you want to do that for Joel Embiid?
Oh, Zay, you got.
I did though. Joel Embiid was hurt.
Zay, where the stats? Send it real quick.
I already pointed it out.
Zay said he got Luka and Kai. Okay.
No. Yeah. Zay has some stats about John Morant, I think.
All right, I'm peacing out. See y'all. Love y'all.
We'll get out of here too,
bro. I'll see y'all.
We will revisit this on Sunday, but overall, a good series. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch y'all Sunday.